working? All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are calling to order a special meeting of the City Council of the City of Jackson, Mississippi, August the 19th, 2024, at 3:30 p.m. here at City Hall. We have two items on the agenda, and we will get started right away unless are there any announcements or colleagues? All right, then we're going to jump right into the agenda with claims. Clerk?
Order approving claims appearing at pages 279 to inclusive thereon on municipal docket of claims in the amount of $23,650 for and making appropriation for the payment thereof.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second on this item. Mr. Wright, can you just walk us through this, what this is, or somebody? Mr. Banks?
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, I think both of the biggest items mostly is toward the planetarium. Am I reading that right?
Is that right, Mr.? Oh, here's Mr. Millenbeck.
Okay, there he is.
Good afternoon, Mr. Millenbeck.
Afternoon.
Thank you. Just please explain this to us.
So this, in fact, the payment out of general fund is for the planetarium.
That's right, yeah.
Right, yeah, okay. There you
Okay.
go.
So basically, all of it, even though it's breakdown, all of it is allocated toward the planetarium?
When you say all of it, the 17,850.
Just 17.8?
Yes.
And the rest of it is just,
This is a PEG. The
Okay.
5,800 appears to be a PEG, and this might be related to the film camp. Yes.
okay.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Banks. Any other questions or comments on this item, colleagues? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it passes with a vote of 5-0. All right, will the clerk please get the second item on the agenda?
Order authorizing the governing authorities of the City Council of Jackson to fulfill vacancy in Ward 2 council member seat pursuant to Section 23-15-857 of the Mississippi Code annotated 1972 as amended, and setting the date for the special election to fill the unexpired term of said seat.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Ms. Harris, would you please come forward and just explain to us this process and the date that you think would work best?
Good afternoon, Angela Harris, Municipal Clerk. Yes, so my recommendation is, the statute states that 30 days after the council calls a special or regular council meeting, whichever comes first, so you chose to have a special meeting, that between 30 to 45 days thereafter, we should have an election. So my recommendation is to go towards the 45, which the election date would be October 1. That would give us 42 days because, elections have to run on a Tuesday. And from that, if there is needed to have a runoff, it's 3 weeks after that, it would be October the 22nd.
Thank you. Mr. Banks?
Madam President, I am, based on the recommendation of the city clerk, the first Tuesday of October, October 1st, I motion to amend this document to reflect October 1st throughout this document.
Well, and then a runoff. You want to do the runoff at the same time?
So the runoff will be 3 weeks following,
October the 22nd.
October 22nd. So I guess, yeah. So then October 1st for the reference date of for the first election, and then the runoff, you said October 22nd?
Yes.
All right.
So Mr. Banks has put on the floor a motion that the special election would be held Tuesday, October the 1st, 2024, and if necessary, a runoff election on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
Did you vote?
I know.
Yeah, question.
They didn't ask for a vote, yes for a second.
Oh, you did the second, okay.
No, I had a
He has a
question.
What, you have a
I had
question?
a question once it gets on the floor.
Well, okay, well, we'll put it on the floor. Mr. Foote,
Okay.
let's
It's on
vote
the
on this
floor.
amendment, and then we'll open everything up for
Okay, all
questions.
right.
Is that all right?
Okay,
Okay, and I thought Mr. Hartley made a second.
you did.
He did, okay. So, all in favor of the amendment as stated?
Aye.
Okay, it is a vote of 5-0. Mr. Foote?
Thank you. My question for the clerk is, now, first of all, this is an open election with no parties or anything, correct?
That is correct.
So it's a wide open primary, and then the top two finishers, if it's not a majority, the top two finishers run in the runoff on the 22nd. Okay? What is the deadline for the people who want to run to get in? Is there a deadline on the last day they can put their petitions? They have to have a petition signed by however many people?
Yes, they have to have 50 qualified elector signatures from that ward. And I'm glad you mentioned it, because right after this meeting, we was going to do a press release. So qualifying period will begin tomorrow morning, August the 20th at 8 a.m. They can come to our office between the hours of 8 to 5 to pick up a qualifying packet, and the deadline for qualifying is September 11th by 5 p.m. because by statute, you have to have, the qualifying period ends 20 days before the special election.
So is that sufficient time to give whoever wants to run?
It's going to have to be, that's going to
Okay.
be the work of the election commissioners, so the sooner they can get their petitions in intent to qualify, so I can get it to the election commissioner to go in and start vetting those signatures, it'll make the process go smoother.
So it'll be 5 p.m. on September 11th. We
It's
did
the
that.
absolute deadline.
Okay. That's
And,
what it-
and to be clear, and I'm so glad you asked those questions, Mr. Foote, the city council is not up here just making this up. I mean, as the order states, this is pursuant to section 23-15-857 of the Mississippi Code. So, any other questions or comments, Mr. Hartley?
Yes, I just wanted to, can you just reiterate for folks that may be interested, what are the qualifying parameters? Residency, I'm sure that's one.
Yes, so any interested candidate, they have to reside in that ward 2 years, and they have to have a petition signed of at least 50 qualified registered voters from that ward.
Let's see. And then they turn it in no later than September 11th.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
but we encourage them to get
Turn
it in as soon
sooner.
as possible.
Yeah.
So there won't be so much work for the election commissioners.
All right, thank you. Mr. Banks?
Yeah, just 2 quick questions. I'm sorry about it. 2 quick questions. One, are all of our election commissioner seats filled?
With the exception of one, which is Ward 1.
Okay.
I think the mayor introduced some people to Councilman Foote. He interviewed them. But I'm thinking that the selection wasn't made because of the redistricting. I'm just assuming
Okay.
that probably was a delay. But I would get with the mayor to see which candidate that he's going to select to put
Okay.
forward. But this doesn't really affect them. This is the Ward 2 election commissioner, and all we have to have is a quorum.
All right. The next thing is, as far as in your budget to cover this election, I assume either we need an amendment soon, or it's already in there.
So the budget won't be affected, the 24-25 election, budget is going to be what's impacted. And so, as you know, as you already saw, that the municipal budget for 2025 has already been set. So most likely, there will be an amendment needed to find some funds to put in to cover this election because it wasn't anticipated.
All right. Have you already gotten with Fidelis about what that might cost?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right.
Because we got to meet with the election commissioners, because we're going to try to make this a very cost-saving election. So we're going to kind of got some ideas we're going to talk about and see what we can do to kind of minimize the cost for this, so it won't be so much.
All right. And will there be any contracting that we would have to do with Hines County?
Possibly.
Possibly. When can you let us know?
Probably this week. But you know
Okay.
something this week.
All right. I think if you just send a memo to the president, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Banks. All right, any other questions or comments, colleagues? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
It's a vote of 5-0. The election will be held Tuesday, October 1st, 2024. If a runoff is necessary, it will be Tuesday, October 22nd. Colleagues, is there anything else to come before this body at this time? Hearing none?
Just,
Sorry, Mr. Hartley?
I don't know if it's mentioned, just remember our attorney, the loss of a family member. Please remember them in your prayers.
All right, thank you. All right, anything else? Then, if there is nothing else to come before this body at this time, this meeting is adjourned.